Hi, everyone, and welcome to the first LFC Toronto podcast, video podcast, YouTube show. I don't know what we're calling this at the moment. Before we get into anything else, let's do some introduction. So I'm going to introduce the man who's underneath me, like this way at the moment. So Jake, take it away.
Yeah, this is exciting. Another avenue to support our OLSC Toronto group and send out the message, which is great. I'm the OLSC Toronto president. We've got a great board, lots of great things happening this year. COVID has kind of dissipated that to a certain degree, so we're trying every avenue possible to get the word out, but this is a great start.
And Dan?
Yeah, hi, Dan Fernandez here, OLSC Toronto's official treasurer and a bookkeeper, avid LFC fan. Really happy to be on this with my fellow compadres, Azaz and Jake. And yeah, let's just get into it. Love it.
Awesome. And my name's Azaz. You can follow me at The Cultures on social media. But the big thing I want to say is, as we intro the first episode, we're not going to talk about what this is, because 101 of starting a new podcast or video show or anything is record a general first episode. Like, you don't need to get into like the origin stories of this is. Maybe we'll do that on episode 100. But also we have a huge game tomorrow. So we can jump right into the semi-final, those Scousers again, trying to get to Wembley. Does anyone want to go first? What are your thoughts on tomorrow?
I wonder what the lineup is going to be. That's going to be the interesting one. What's going to be our midfield? We've got a lot of injuries, like a lot of injuries. Not really worried about the front to a certain degree. If Jota, I think we've got some power there, but I want some creativity in the mid, which I don't know. It's been lacking a little bit. I'm okay with the defense. I think the defense, the backs, and the center backs are good, but I don't know. It's just the midfield is the quandary for me. I'm not sure who we're going to start. What do you guys think?
Hold on a second. Is there going to be a match tomorrow? Let's deal with that first. Is there going to be a match tomorrow? Right?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Presuming there is, I think that we play our strongest lineup. I think we want to represent ourselves, obviously, strong in this competition. Jurgen needs this domestic cup. So do we. Yeah, I mean, the quadruple's still on, right? So
yeah. So to Jake's point, the midfield does worry me as well, to be honest with you. Like, I feel I'm definitely into like the whole we need to play our strongest team, but that also means we need a strong midfield tomorrow, and we are dropping like flies. Like, I feel the latest one with Ox not being available tomorrow as well. Like, who is available? Who is fit? We know Henderson's available. We know Fabinho's there. He has to play. He may pop up with a goal as well. But who's taking that third position? Like, it's too soon for Harvey, right?
It's too soon for
I think
Harvey.
it's too soon for
Millie?
Yeah.
I love Millie to death. He's a servant and a half. I will always respect my Ribena Prince, but I need some. I mean, again, who else is left, right? Like, who else can play that role with the spark and energy? Like, the AFCON guys are still away. Naby's out as well, right? So now Ox is done. So who's our remaining? I don't think we blood in another youngster like Tyler Morton. I love him. He's good, right? Future. And he's still a bit hesitant from that. He's only played a couple of games, which is great for him. But, we need to be pressing. We need to have some creativity, move the ball fast. We're okay from the defensive standpoint because Fab is our controller, our stopper. We're okay there. Henderson's energizer, box to box bunny. But I need that creativity, and I'm not sure who's going to be that person that's going to fit in.
And that is Curtis Jones, my friend, fellow Scouser. Jurgen's really lit a fuse under him. You could see it in the last match, also some of the media before and after, right? He's gone on to sort of have that close-knit sort of conversation with him and really try to light a fire. Because if you look at what Curtis, his season this season has been rife with missing appearances, matches, COVID. He had the injury, the eye injury, like the freak eye injury, and it's like he's never got into a rhythm. Last season, he showed some of his true quality, right? I mean, he was 19 years old, in a first team with Liverpool. I mean, that's saying something. And I think this season, along with Harvey and some of the young guys, that just don't think they've had that rhythm. And now that he's finally sort of fit, I think, this is his chance. I mean, it is a semifinal. It's the League Cup semifinal, so it's not like the Premier League and it's not the Champions League. But he's the creative force. I mean, with Naby gone, Thiago out, who else really at the end of the day on the bench, right? And so Zaz, I don't know.
So here's the thing. I don't know about today because today was a busy day for me in the day job, but yesterday the people that trained were Fabinho, Henderson, midfielders. Fabinho, Henderson, Milner, Morton, Elliott. We know he's not ready, and Clarkson. They're the only midfielders who trained yesterday. And then the forwards were Firmino, Jota, Minamino, Gordon, and Waltman. And we're stacked, thankfully, in the back. It's so bizarre. Like last season, we were bare bones in defense, literally putting midfielders into defense. Is it now time that we need to do the reverse? Because, there is a shout for a Nico or a Bradley, and finally we see Trent in that number 8 position on the right. I don't think it's going to happen. I'm just being facetious because that's very bare. Let me do that again. Fabinho, Henderson, Milner, Morton, Elliott, and Clarkson are the only players in midfield who trained on Tuesday.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's either then. I mean, just using those names and looking at the experience, right? I mean, this is a semifinal. It's a knockout, really, at the end of the day, and it's either Taki or I mean, you could say Cade, but I don't think he's going to start Cade. Gordon, right? So I think Taki gets the start potentially, right, with the other two, and without big divs not there, right? So it's and then in terms of midfield, I mean, I don't know. I mean, Taki could play that, but I'm not sure a way you could put him into the slot him into the mid right there. So I don't know. It's a real
tough
one, man.
Because
it
could be more.
I mean, who's Arsenal going to put in? Shaka's done. Who's Arsenal's midfielder going to be?
I wish he was
tomorrow. I get that for sure. I mean, I'm sure he's betting somewhere, whatever. Who cares? But the premise is that who are they going to play? They've got some young studs on that squad as well, like Emil Smith-Rowe and a few others on that mid that are hustlers. Like, I don't know, does Sacco play forward or does he play mid? I'm not sure, but they've got some good folks. They've got some good folks on that squad as well.
Apparently, there's going to be a party tomorrow because he's back, right? He's back from Ghana. I mean, Ghana was ousted from AFCON.
Eliminated,
There's a small chance that he might make it. I personally don't see it, traveling and, but just to make the bench or something like that, it could be an impact sort of a sub for them. But they have a good young nucleus, right? And I think playing at home, I think they're going to treat it as like a knockout game at home and give it their all. So I don't know. I feel like we have to be really weary at the defensive and the midfield area, especially. I would hope that Jurgen and Pep, Jurgen would maybe beef it up with a little bit more steel. So maybe it is maybe it is. And as you said, Morton wasn't in. Like, was he in? Or did he train? Did he train? Okay.
Jones.
So either him or Millie, Like I would reinforce that. I know you sacrificed the creativity there, but away, you want to stay in the match. You don't want to lose it, if you will. Within a few spells. So I don't know. It's a tough.
So do you want to know something funny? We had as many goalkeepers training on Tuesday as we did midfielders and attackers.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's like unheard of. Like, wow.
Yeah, completely unheard of. So Odegaard will play for Arsenal in midfield. He's a good player. The frustrating thing to me is because I know we want to talk about, because Dan mentioned like Carabao, it's not Premier, etc. Like, I really want to win this. Like, I don't want, like, we're now getting to a point where maybe we are at the second half or towards the latter end of Jurgen's reign. I know we're not allowed to talk about that. We're just supposed to pretend like it'll never happen. I don't want like the 2, 3, 4 cups from like a 15-month period to be that's it. I do want this, and they all count, right? Like, we quote the trophies and stuff. So I really want this. So the frustrating thing for me is I think we would batter them with Mo and Mane. I think we would, I feel Arsenal have got a really good chance of getting in the top 4 because for some reason their brilliant against everybody from 5 down, but
Mm-hmm.
they weren't good against Man U. But like in general, and Man U are definitely 5 and
Well, I
down.
love that dig
Yeah,
right there.
yeah. But
5 down.
like against the top 3, they just cannot do it.
Yeah.
They're not there yet, and nothing saying that they will be. That's the
Mm-hmm.
thing that's going to frustrate me tomorrow, because we in our group, in all our friends groups and stuff, we all talk about it's just 2 games. It's Brentford and Palace. It's Brentford and Palace. I want to beat Arsenal. I want to get to a final. Hopefully, Toronto will be back out of step 2 by then, and we can have an
Mm-hmm.
amazing Sunday in late February. Like we
At
need
Wembley,
this
right?
tomorrow
at
in
at
Wembley. Yeah,
at Anfield South versus the
yeah,
the plastics, I guess. So
yeah.
so yeah.
I was so gutted that like we controlled such a, I mean that 10 men, like they did a good job, but I think we were wanted I think we wanted to play the old Arsenal way, which is just walk the ball into the net. Like I remember those
Mm-hmm.
guys and then the Petits and all that, like Bergkamps, whatever. They just wanted to walk that ball into the net. I
Mm-hmm.
remember
Mm-hmm.
those that from that era. And we had so much, and as soon as we lost that guy, we had so much possession and we were hustling. And I'm almost like I wish they had a full team, because if they had a full team, the space
Mm-hmm.
would have been way more.
Well,
And like Trent and Andy were on the wings, they were pushing, and once those guys are on, the collective unit is so much like they're on, like everyone's like you can see the fire, you can see the passion, they're getting the balls, we're first to the ball, we're second to the
mm,
ball, we're making tackles, we're hustling, and that was on. And as soon as that happened and you had the Arsenal bus parked,
mm-hmm.
we had a hard time, picking the lines. Our speed was kind of reduced. We didn't have like, so I mean, I was gutted that happened, but I mean, 11 on 11, even with those AFCON guys out, we should progress tomorrow. I don't know what you
Yeah.
guys think of the score line
Predictions.
tomorrow.
Yeah. I tomorrow's going to be a tough one. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. Obviously, it's a knockout, but I think away, I still think we're a bit lapsed defensively. I don't know what it is. This season's been a bit of a. I mean, it's been a great season, but we've also had players in and out. I'm going to say 2-1 Liverpool, but it's going to be a squeaky bum sort of, like right till
Two
the end.
one in 90 or 2-1 in 120.
I think, you know what, I think 2-1 and 90, but I wouldn't be surprised if it goes beyond that. Just giving away our offensive prowess when Sadio and Mo aren't there. The creativity, like you said, the invention, the ideas. Where's it coming from, right? I mean, then without them, it's really dependent on Trent and Robbo,
Big
and
time.
you could say Bobby here and there, but Jota's really up front by himself, and that midfield sort of creativity with Thiago. It's just tough. It's tough to see it.
What do you
Jake,
think,
what's your
Azaz?
score?
What do you
Oh,
think? What do
okay.
you think,
I'll
Azaz? What
go
do you
first.
think?
I'm gonna, that you guys know this. People in my Liverpool circles know this. I have a standard line since last year's injury crisis: 1-0, no injuries. That'll do me all day. Because I said that the other day, and we were winning 1-0, and I was like, I'll take it against Brentford. We won 3-0, and we lost Jones and Matip to injury. And Ox. Sorry, Ox is not playing either. So,
Yeah.
for me, it's like 1-0, no injuries. I don't want anything fancy. It can come off someone's knee, shin. I really don't care. I really, really want to get to Wembley. I think we'll control the game tomorrow just because we have that standard now. We are the second best. We're the best, second best, whatever. We're we are up there. And I feel like we don't lose sight of that. You have to have that kind of swagger to go to Old Trafford and play like that.
Yeah.
We play like that away. I'm not sure we'll play like that at the Emirates, but we'll talk about that in a couple of weeks, and hopefully things are a bit more in our favor back then. But for me, 1-0, no injuries, red men going to Wembley. Jake?
Love it.
I think it's going to be a 2-0. I'm hoping to get a defensive goal from either Virgil or I would love to have the backs do it, but I think that left and right backs do it. But I think that, I don't know who's going to play with Virgil.
I think Ibu's going to get the start.
I think Konate will, yeah. So I mean, I think
so.
I mean, I don't know. They don't really
Never
have a
know.
physical. I think Martinelli's the tallest one they have on the front line. I
I
think they
rate
think
him
he'll
though.
play.
I
Yeah,
rate
he's a solid.
Martinelli.
He's got speed. He's a
Yeah,
solid. He's
yeah,
kind of like a poor man's Bobby in a sense, right? But I'm thinking
Yeah.
it's 2-0. But from a fan perspective, I would like it to go 1-1, penalties, we win, and like it goes all the way down from the fan perspective. But I'll take a nice 2-0. Maybe Taki scores because it was his birthday the other day, and then one from the defense, and then we call it a day and we move on to the next round.
So Allison
Yeah.
O'Callagher, I'm just going to
Yeah, I
quickly
was
go
just
through
gonna
the
say
team.
that. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
just gonna say that. I think we've, might just get the start. You never know. I mean, it is the Carabao Cup. There is a match on the weekend, right? So that defensive pairing as well, right? I mean, thinking about back to when we played Palace, Ibu, I believe, started that match with Virgil, right? So,
he did. He did. Yeah.
So it might be Matip back in, and that sort of rotation, but yeah, no, I think. Look, at the end of the day, if it's Allison he's fit, you're probably going to go with him. But Queef's really, yeah, he's come of age this season, and
Yeah,
nobody
never let us
talks
down.
about him. I think Pep talked about him in the presser, said that I always, or we always refer to him as having loads of talent, but now it's getting realized, right? Now he's winning us matches, and so yeah.
Yeah. So defense, Van Dijk, Kanate. I'm guessing everyone agrees.
Think that I think that like if we're positioning things, I like if we're not as creative in the midfield, I kind of like because I haven't seen enough of Kanate that Joel and Virgil play because Joel, like if you see the last few games, he's been hustling, he's been deking out players,
I heard he's
been
injured
on.
though, Jake. I heard not injured, but like he didn't
Not
train
match
for
fit.
this
Yeah.
game.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, so then it's
apparently.
gonna
So
be
he'll
Ibu
play
for sure
against
then.
Palace. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, then that's fine. Yeah,
The levels of
as
Van
long as one
Dijk
of them
against
scores.
Van Dijk against Brentford in that like holding
Oh,
midfield area, just like pinging
completely.
stuff around. We need some of that tomorrow because the creativity. So Van Dijk, Kanate, Robbo. I
Yeah,
want to say
Robbo Trent.
obviously, but Costas is sick. Jurgen will never do it. I would go Bradley or Nico tomorrow and put Trent up, but it's never going to happen. I'm playing
Bit of a
FIFA
gamble,
here.
yeah. I mean, in
Yeah.
that type of match, right? I mean,
So then
yeah.
Fab, Henderson. I'm gonna say Martin. I'm sorry, it's not Milner. It's just I personally I love him. We all love him, but like I feel Hendo and Milner is diminishing returns at this point.
Do you know what though? I and a lot of people harp back to the performance, right? I mean, like the last week's performance with Millie, and yes, he did look out of sorts a bit. And to be fair to him, he's been in and out of the squad quite a bit. The one thing with Millie though is that he gives you obviously the leadership and quality. I mean, he still has crossing ability, all that kind of stuff. But one key difference that I've seen with him is Millie at Anfield or a smaller pitch versus Millie at a bigger pitch. So an Emirates or an Etihad or something like that is a different ball game, and I think he's going to be really outclassed on the larger pitch because again, his pace is what's really letting him down. I think his instincts generally are good. I still think he can dish the ball around. He has a great obviously left foot and all that, but I feel like on a bigger pitch he's not going to thrive. And having him as an option off the bench to cover right back, whatever it may be, left back, wherever on the pitch, really, keeper even, who knows? Well, we don't need a keeper, but yeah. I just don't think he fits into the squad. So Martin would be a good shout, I think. Yeah, just to hold it down, dish the ball out. He's really poised. Yeah.
And then I guess Firmino, Jota, Minamino, any takers on Gordon?
I would love to see him, but I don't know.
I mean, I was hoping he would have scored the last match because he had that chance. He had that chance, and I was like, "Oh my! Like you're in.
This
you're
could
on.
be it. Yeah,
this is it. Like this is the moment. You're about 10 minutes in, or whatever the timing was. You have a left foot, and I thought he would have just either lofted it, bent it over the keeper, whatever the case was. But
do you feel he should have chipped it? I think he should have tried. Tried the cheeky chip, right? I mean, he had the. Anyway, I don't want to get into that, but
he tried a Michael Owen finish actually.
Yeah,
that's how Michael Owen made his name. But Owen used to find the back of the net. We've got a lot of faith in Cade Gordon. I think he's going to be great. But I feel like tomorrow, it's Firmino, Jota, Minamino. This is Tuesday's list I'm looking at, by the way. Like someone might have trained today that I'm not aware of, but like based on this list here, we are pretty bare bones, and I can't even stomach the thought of not going to Wembley this close. It's like it's too long, man. 2016 was the last time we were in a domestic cup final. Like for us, by us, considering this is like a modern golden period as well, we need to stack a few of these pots up.
Like who's going to be on the bench tomorrow?
Yeah,
like who's on the bench tomorrow? Is it the full U20 to U21 squad? Like Bonner, like is it the who's gonna take that? You know, it'll be Bradley, let's say, right? Like
so assuming Alisson's in goal, I'll tell you who's on the bench: Kelleher, Adrian, Karius, Pitaluga, and Harros. I'm just joking. We're stacked in defense. Van Dijk, Konate, Gomez, Phillips is back in training now. Robertson, Trent, Costas, Williams, Beck, and Bradley. So it's like
Costas is back.
Literally the opposite of yesterday. Of last year.
Last season, yeah, I know. Yeah. I know. It's just, you know what, it's a real shame that Thiago is not fit and just over this past while, but because he could have really, especially down to, you know, playing against 10 men. I mean, 3 times this season, right? What is it? 3 times? So Chelsea, United, and this last match versus Arsenal. We seem devoid of ideas, and it's funny if you watch those matches, and obviously, you know, going down at 10 happens either early or kind of late in the second half, but there's usually about a period of about 10 to 15 minutes where we really go at them, whichever team, and then we get sort of just devoid of ideas. We try different things. Joel will start to dribble through players. Trent will just aimlessly start crossing to nobody, and you think
we know the patterns,
right? Yeah. And so at that point, who do you inject in, right? You know, or what do you do? Like, what do you tweak? Do you send Virgil up? Who knows? I mean, in this sort of match, I don't think you do that, but you know, that's where it really hits us against the wall, and you know, I guess you know, that's where the squad really has to come into play, right? You know, in terms of offering up a little bit more quality than what we have. It's too bad Div wasn't there. I mean, honestly, I think he's the perfect guy.
This would have been. This is you know.
He has a penchant.
This is the moment that he would shine. This is the move.
This is his thing for sure.
Yeah,
honestly,
today's like rumors that came out, he's going to be hurt. Like, sorry, go ahead.
Inside, this is especially when the Watford goal went in. I stopped worrying about the AFCON because of Origi. I was like, because he was look like when we signed him in 2015, like I thought he was okay at the World Cup. Like I wasn't really buying the hype. Like I thought it was a lot of like he was fast, he was physical.
Right?
Oh yeah, like World Cup 2014.
Right? Yeah, 14. I remember that.
And he's still so young, so he must have been like a baby at the time. But like I remember when we were signing him, I was like, yeah, he was all right. Like, you know, we saw because Belgium were exciting. We all saw the team. But then when Jurgen came in, he was our main target man for that first season. And he was brilliant until
he gave us Dortmund, right?
Yeah.
He gave us the...
Yes.
Yeah, he gave us a lot.
He was so good. And we were obviously over-reliant on Sturridge at the time. And like, Divock was playing at that level. And then, you know, we have all the moments in between. But for some reason, when that Watford thing happened, I was like, this is going to be the goodbye. Because I don't think he's going to resign. I was like, this is going to be his goodbye to us. And then it just
what's his injury, if you don't mind me asking? Like, what's his actual affliction? I don't know. I'm struggling to remember what happened.
I remember reading about it. I can't remember what it is because it was so long ago. But I do believe he ended up getting... I think it was a training ground injury with Phillips, but we can double check that. Yeah,
because today they're saying he's out for like longer. I thought the initial reports was around this time that he would be back, but they're saying that's going to be another few weeks at least.
Oh man,
yeah.
So that's gutted too for that.
We only have 2 games until the break, and then the winter break, and then it's Cardiff. Technically, Mo and Sadio could even be back for Cardiff. Obviously, they won't play.
And Naby.
And Naby. No, I'm just talking attackers.
Sorry, I just had a
100%.
It's not COVID. It's not COVID.
That's for another episode for sure. Just for anyone who doesn't know the LFC Toronto dynamic, Dan's a massive Naby Keita fan.
Believe
We
in them,
have
guys.
some.
Believe in them.
We definitely have some detractors in the group as well. I'm somewhere in the middle, as Dan knows. Like I rate him. I see the ability, I see the qualities, but he's got a really heavy number on his back, and that
also
has to come with consistency, right? So
he
that's
had a
my
heavy
only
left
issue.
foot last night. I don't know if you watched that,
Oh
but
yeah.
anyway,
Oh my
Yeah, it was a
God.
good
Yeah,
highlight.
you know,
yeah.
or a couple of days ago. But anyway, sorry, I digress on that. Azaz, back to
Yeah.
you. Sorry.
So quickly,
Yeah.
because I know it's evening and we are excited to share this today and share it with our community. Just quickly on that, if you're from LFC Toronto or from anywhere, please subscribe. We want to build this community. Please comment as well underneath. We want to hear your thoughts. Let's get into some debate. Our Toronto family, we're actually excited to also get some of you on this as well. So it's not only just going to be us in the future. So please share, interact. We'll share with this as well. So yeah, we're hoping that this is the start of our presence. And if you're not from the Toronto region as well, please let us know how you found us. Just let us know what you think, anything you want us to cover as well. Because yeah, we're really excited about this. It's been a good year for us, momentum wise, and there's an unfortunate enforced mini lockdown, we'd call it, in Toronto. So we're just trying to be creative and keep our conversation moving, right, Jake?
Yeah, it's perfect. This is a great platform, and we've got push the word out, and we hopefully when COVID dissipates, we can continue to grow our community, our events. We've got so many things planned for this calendar year and the next. So hopefully, stay tuned for some announcements and follow us on social media. Go to our website, lfctoronto.com, on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, as well as YouTube, and find us. Appreciate that.
Amazing. And to wrap up, let's do a quick few minutes on the Palace game then. So after Thursday must come Sunday. I'm actually kind of nervous for Palace away. I think it's going to be. Last year we beat them 7-0. I don't think they're a bogey team, by the way. Like I know because of
me either.
Kristan Ball and all that good stuff. Like I know what the theory is out there. I don't personally see it, particularly in Jurgen's reign. Obviously, they've given us a few punches to the jaw a couple of times, as Premier League teams will do, but we don't have our full team. And Premier League away, that crowd is amazing. We all know now it's Ted Lasso's ground as well. Just adds like a little bit of spice to it as well. What are we thinking for Sunday?
What team are we going to put out? So let's like a knock on wood with your line is that as like no injuries from from tomorrow's match. Do we put out almost the same unit with a few subs defensively? Like I don't know if we change it up. Does Gomez get a run, or we just keep it with Ibu and Virgil? I don't necessarily want to change the back four if we have to. Again, mid's always a thing of issue. So do we blood one of the kids in? Like, does Morton get a run in there? I'm okay with that from that standpoint. I actually can't think. Zaha's the only real name that comes in. I don't know if Vieira is like he's galvanized the squad to a certain degree, but they're still languishing kind of mid-table-ish. I don't know who's really I don't know who's really the stars on that squad anymore. I know that like they're physically strong. There's some big men on that squad, and they'll use that from rather than their technical ability. So I don't know if putting some of the 18-year-old like skinny lads like Bradley and Morton against some of those folks would be the foray, but I'm not sure what the lineup is. I'm kind of miffed at that, what we're going to put out.
They just to what they may put out. I mean, our foremost talisman Christian Benteke is going to be leading the line. Him or Edward or one of those kind of lads there. But Jordan Ayew, I think, is just an enigma to me. I mean, I still rate him, but his like finishing ability, like over the past few years, or at least a year and a half or whatever it is, was just astonishing. I think you've seen the stats or something. He hadn't scored a goal. I don't know if he scored a goal now, but it's just atrocious, right? So against our backline, I'm really confident. I think all of you are as well. But it's if we're going there for a result, right, to keep up with City, I know it's a long shot, right? But if we're going there for a real result, we have to be on it offensively. And for us to be on it offensively, it's actually not the front three, it's actually our midfield. And if it's the same injury crisis we have now, who do you slot in there? Curtis would be logical, but I don't know if he's not fit. It's Amelia Martin, or I don't know, maybe somebody else. It's going to be a tough one. I think it's going to be a tough one for us, because we're going to have the majority of possession, I would assume, and Palace is going to just be trying to hit us on the counter, right, as usual with their runners and their pace. So I don't know.
On the Palace side, just to answer Jake's point, Eze is a great player.
Eze as well. Yeah.
Oh, that's
so
right.
So he's like the counterbalance to Zaha. But their standout player this year is actually a Chelsea boy called Conor Gallagher. So he's had a really good season. Yeah, so they're not nobodies. Like it's a pretty good squad, and then it's got like a little bit of Liverpool knowledge in there as well in Benteke. I think Martin Kelly's still kicking around.
Yeah, he is.
So
I
am
as well.
MacArthur, obviously, So seasoned pro. And that crowd again, like I made a joke before about the Ted Lasso thing, but like actually, like on a serious level, that Crystal Palace crowd is legit. I think it's one of the best atmospheres in the Premier League. So it's going to be hard it's not just the physical size that Jake said, but also it takes a bit of a personality to go into a cauldron. And we know it. We appreciate that about our ground, but they also do have a cauldron. So it's tough.
Right,
we have to win, and we have to win. Like we have to win.
Yeah, I'm not settling for a draw. We've got to push that limit and get those points. I like the fact that Chelsea did a little dip, and so we are in that spot. But I think we have the ability. I just hopefully they've had their Wheaties and Lucozade and whatever else they need to have to get the jolt, and they're ready to go. And of course, you're right. Like coming into London, like going to that ground, you're literally on top of each other, and it's a working man like club. So there's lots of good supporters. You're literally just a stone's throw away from the fans when you're on that pitch, and so it does rev up their Palace squad immensely. And hopefully, we'll take some of that negativity and that stick and just literally give it back to them in our tackles, in our challenges, like in our running, and put our best foot forward.
Yeah, I think just one last point to this. I think the key man for us is going to be Hendo. I think I honestly think Hendo rebounded a lot. He rebounded well. I think at the weekend with Brentford. I think fans are really on him. I think after that, I think it was the Arsenal match, right?
It was the Arsenal
and
game.
also I think he proved his worth again. He put in a good performance, albeit at home. But I think he really wants to end off before we go off into the break and such, and just on a good note, because he really is our leader. He's a key man, and he does have that offensive creativity. It's just again when and where, right? When you're breaking down against 10 men versus on the break. Hendo on the break has played some amazing balls this season.
Amazing.
And he has really good vision. So, hopefully we can get more of that.
I won't ever give Hendo and Trent a hard time in these moments, because I think that COVID really gets to them. There are people who shake it off. We're living in a global pandemic. We're in Canada here. We've seen what's happened to Alphonso Davies, for example, premium prime athlete, probably the best Canadian soccer player of all time. And he's suffering after COVID. I think Hendo and Trent do have that hangover longer than others. So anybody who's going at Hendo's performance last Thursday, for example, and I think Trent got some stick as well after the Arsenal game. I think that's a real factor as well, because we're all different, and even though they're prime premium athletes, it's a proper virus, and it's going to manifest in its own ways.
Can't imagine having that affect you. You don't train for a certain time, right? Your diet is like everything, because your taste buds, whatever the situation is, and then you have to come back and you have to perform at that level you were, and in a second. And of course, fans don't give you that moment, right? They're like, okay, well, it's done now. It's COVID's over. You did it. That was COVID yesterday. What are you gonna do for me today? And so the
short memory.
expectation is, you know, as sad as the expectation is that they are going to play at that level. But, you know, being humble, honorable fans that we are, we understand there's a situation at hand and it affects your body and it affects everyone very differently. So as a result, you know, we just pray that it's going to be okay for them and then they'll snap out of it. But, you know, in all likelihood, it is affecting them. It's going to take them a minute to get back to the spaces that they need to get to. And, you know, hopefully that they'll do that sooner than later.
Absolutely. Okay, so we're just looking at the time. We got to wrap this up. I'm going to go first with predictions. 1-0, no injuries.
Jake, what do you think?
I think it's going to be 2-1. 2-1, no injuries.
I'm actually going to go above. I'm going to say it's actually going to be a 4-0. We're going to blow them out. I actually feel we're going to dominate them a little bit more than we are thinking right now. You know, with Sadio and Nabi out. So yeah, I'm going to say 4-0, dominating performance. Why not?
Really? I'm very, very, very.
I like it. I like it.
I mean, we had 7, so
like
why not? Why not cut it in half almost? Right? Round up.
I like it.
I do think that there's that element of it as well. And you know, City play before us again on Saturday, so we have to win. They're playing Southampton away, so maybe Ralph can give us a bit of a give us a bit of a hookup. But
Ward Prowse, our new, you know, might put in a performance. So I can't even say that. I might put in a performance for sure.
Gents, it's been a pleasure. So we've officially done our first episode. So we'll get this plugged in and uploaded and share it with our community. And yeah, excited to keep this moving.
Beautiful. Love it.
Most definitely. Thank you, sir. And thank you, sirs.
Yeah. All the best. Bye.
Cheers. Bye.
Never walk alone. See you guys.